We will be discussing how the Big Ten does not have a long-term TV contracts in place just a few months before the season begins, and other repercussions for the conference. Hello everyone and welcome to No Huddle, where we discuss all things dealing with college football. The issue for this video is the contract for a $7 billion 7-year contract with Fox, CBS, and NBC that was never signed. Now, new Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti must get everything in place before the new season, and deal with the backlash of other problems caused by previous Commissioner Kevin Warren. Before we get too far into the video, if you enjoy college football content and want more, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Now, let's get technical. In an unenviable task, Tony Petitti must correct a problem that many thought was solved. In August 2022, it was announced that the Big Ten signed a new 7-year contract worth $7 billion that would begin in July 2023 and would run through the 2029-2030 athletic year. It has come to light that this contract, negotiated with the help of former Commissioner Warren, was never signed off. We will say that again, a $7 billion contract that was believed to be signed never got signed. Oh my. Imagine coming into a position with a problem like that on your desk the first day of your job.
This is the worst!
Like we said, an unenviable task. Furthermore, the backlash of this failed deal is far-reaching, and every SEC will feel some effects of it. In an article published by Pete Thamel on ESPN, he listed money being paid back to various broadcast companies like NBC and Fox. The article stated they're going to pay back nearly $40 million to Fox because, according to sources, Warren delivered NBC the Big Ten football title game in 2026 without the full authority to do so. Let's unpack this in two parts here. First, $40 million being paid back. The money is coming from schools in the Big Ten, which is huge and affects the budget significantly for any school. Some of it affects more than others due to revenue coming in, as you can imagine. And we assume the powerhouse schools of the Big Ten, like your Michigan and Ohio State, may have an easier time getting the money than other schools like Northwestern and Rutgers. But let's not downplay this, that a collective $40 billion is a ton of money to just come up with between the schools. Being told that with 3 months left before the beginning of the season, and less time to come up with the money is a daunting task to say the least, because chances are that the money was budgeted carefully and it may be spent already. Just to break this down more, there are 14 schools in the Big Ten Conference, so a little under $3 million from each school should make up the difference. It cannot be that simple and uniform in how this is going to be paid back. Some schools may pay more than others, but let's not speculate too much. Also, UCLA and USC joined the Big Ten in August 2024, but probably won't need to chip in this $40 million. Regardless, approximately $2.8 million from each school is a big ask. This money is already budgeted carefully, and to come along and say, hey, we made a mistake and we are going to need almost $3 million from you to fix it is insane. So, this is a huge problem moving forward for the Big Ten, and its schools paying back $40 million to Fox because of Kevin Warren's mistake. Second is the full authority to do so. The Big Ten does not own its television rights, Fox does. When this deal between the Big Ten and NBC was agreed upon for the 2026 title game, it was done without the supervision of Fox. When Kevin Warren agreed to this deal that secured a big title game, he had no say in the matter. Even though he was acting commissioner of the Big Ten at the time, the Big Ten does not own the television rights to their games. Fox does. So, Fox has the final say if these games can be broadcasted on another network. And the deal should have been between Fox and NBC. Think of it as a sublease agreement of the sorts. For Fox, these are assets, products if you will, and one of the employees is selling these products without your knowledge or consent. Subleasing your products without your knowledge or consent. Oh, but that's not all according to Thamel's ESPN article. Schools will pay $25 million in total to Fox for lost revenue and the football game inventory for the 2020 season. the COVID-19 pandemic season. This feels like just kicking someone while they're down. On top of the $40 million to correct a mistake in contract agreements, there's another $25 million. Let's try to keep the simple math here, so we can fully wrap our heads around the money being paid back. $65 million divided by the 14 schools, and it comes down to $4.64 million per school. Now, will each school pay evenly in these scenarios? We can't say. But to take that kind of hit, your budget is grueling. Talk about having one heck of a summer vacation. Finally, according to Thamel, there are millions of dollars in value in flux as Petiti and the Big Ten try to salvage this NBC deal while they're trying to maintain as much value as possible. The problem is the games potentially in this deal with NBC received heavy pushback from schools like Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan because of having to play night games after the first week of November. The article goes on to say these are for safety concerns, health, recovery, and other factors, known as tolerances. The NBC deal goes against those tolerances, and it came to light that NBC was not aware of these historic tolerances until after the initial contract was signed. This means that NBC went into thinking that it was receiving primetime games with the marquee matchups, only to find out that some teams refused to play because of these tolerances. So there will be lost revenue. Instead of getting these juicy matchups, NBC may get lesser quality and will lose revenue based on that. So that is the money influx that is being referred to. But to try and salvage the deal, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State recently agreed to concessions to help the SEC make up for lost revenue in the NBC deal, according to Thamel. Even though Ohio State and Penn State conceded some, losing Michigan for potential night games late in the season will hurt NBC because the Wolverines do not want to break these long upheld tolerances. Another issue is lack of communication, where the coaches and athletic directors weren't aware that the programs may have to break these tolerances and only found out after it was too late. Again, these tolerances are sort of an unwritten code for coaches and athletic directors in the SEC. The tolerance being not to play night games late into November for rest, recovery, and safety concerns. But these games were organized, and it was all done without the athletic directors and coaches' input. So you have teams blindsided by this and asking, we're doing what? We're playing when? Let's keep in mind this is all 3 months before the season starts in late August. There is a matter of potential bonus owed to Kevin Warren too. While Warren's contract did not have a bonus clause tied to a TV deal, according to same Pete Thamel article over on ESPN, Warren's predecessor Jim Delaney received a $20 million bonus because he led the negotiations that sold the Big Ten media rights. Delaney's contract also included a clause too, but that is another potential issue the Big Ten faces. And the league consulted with outside search firm Korn Ferry to reach a conclusion on the matter, according to Pete Thamel. At this point, it is like just one hit after another. There must be some personnel at some of these schools in the Big Ten saying, "You guys quit hitting me." All the while, Kevin Warren left to be team president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. He is done, and he is not going to help fix these issues that he created. He left while the getting was good, and all these problems, he's probably saying, well, good luck with that, but hey, if I get a bonus, give me a call, otherwise do not ring my phone. To recap the problems so far for those of you at home, here is what we have. You have $40 million being paid back because a TV contract was signed by the former Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren and NBC. The Big Ten does not own the media rights. Fox does, so Warren did not have the authority to give NBC a 2026 title game. As a result, the schools in the Big Ten must pay $40 million collectively. Additionally, due to lost revenue in the 2020 season, the COVID-19 season, schools will collectively pay Fox, the media rights owner of the Big Ten, $25 million for lost revenue. Schools must try and make up for potential lost revenue for NBC when the contract signed included primetime games that broke tolerances. The deal had some schools play night games in the first weeks of November, which broke a long-standing tradition or tolerance, and this received pushback from some of the top programs in the Big Ten. Due to this pushback and losing some of the better games, there will be a fluctuating amount of money lost. Then, there is the matter of Kevin Warren is owed a bonus, and where that will come from. Overall, not a fun summer if your school is in the Big Ten. being on vacation only to have an email, text, or voicemail because people do use voicemails detailing all this. Maybe this is why people don't pick up the phone on vacations. It will be interesting to see how these money problems are dealt with and if they're handled before the season starts in late August. Until next time, this is No Huddle.